To part 5 of modeling the Sci-Fi crate. In our last tutorial, we went ahead and reinforced the edges on the box itself. So when I press 3, which is smooth preview, it's looking way more like the concept art as opposed to looking like inflatable proximity. So I'm going to go ahead and hide that, and we're going to move on to the handles. Just as a quick reminder, make sure that when you're embarking on new portions of your models to go save as, and go ahead and save a version. Put a little suffix there with a note. Now you don't have to do like I do. I like doing this because I'm meticulously organized and I don't like to waste a lot of time going into past saves to try to figure out where my last big change happened. If you don't care and you don't mind doing that, you can just go File, Increment and Save, or you could do File, Autosave, and it'll just constantly, like every 5 to 10 minutes, save a version for you. So, I mean, if you need that peace of mind, you can go for it. Me, it's just the way I roll. I've been doing it for so long. It's just ingrained at this point. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to grab these handles, and notice that when I grab one, it grabs both, because when I mirrored the geometry, it, of course, combine my mesh. So to delete this handle, and the reason I want to delete it is because when I fence this side, I don't want to have to go fence the other handle. So I'm just going to right click, go to faces, grab that handle and delete it. Then I can go back into object mode and I can press F, and that will bring me back to centering on my handle. So now that I'm back over here, let's go ahead and grab that Insert Edge Loop tool. It was my last tool, so I can just go over here and click it. I could also go Shift right click, Insert Edge Loop tool, and then double click to get into these settings. I still have multiple edge loops turned on, so that's what I wanted. I can click on this, add to edge loops, because it's going perfectly side to side without any strange wonky geometry. I can very easily just scale 2 edge loops so that whatever's happening on one side happens on the other. Okay? Cool. Now let's go over to this end cap. We need to reinforce this edge. And so what I'll do is I will go into object mode, because it's always easier to do this from object mode. And I will go ahead and grab my Insert Edge Loop tool, and it doesn't work. Oh no, why is it not working? It's not working because we are dealing with triangles. Remember, Insert Edge Loop tool only likes to follow the flow of quads, so we're going to have to use Extrude to get that Insert Edge Loop. Now, as you know, I don't like to double down on my work. I don't want to have to extrude on both ends, so I'm going to show you a really neat trick that can be found in our modeling toolkit. So in the modeling toolkit over here, we already talked about how there's these really cool constraints like the edge slide constraint that's under transform. Well, another really cool tool is this Symmetry tool. If we click on the arrow and we go to World Z, so it's mirroring, doing symmetry, not mirroring, sorry. It is basically projecting a symmetry so that what you do on one side of the z-axis is going to match. So, for example, if I were to right click and go to vertex mode and just snag these vertices, it snags them on that side. If I were to move these vertices, it will move them on the other side. So that's going to save us a little bit of time. Let's go over here and grab these faces. To grab these faces, I'm going to just align my camera to the best that I can. I mean, I could just spacebar and use orthographic view, but this is more expedient. So let's go and do wireframe and right click faces and use our marquee to select both the end cap and this edge loop here. So I can then click on Control, and if I hold down Control and draw another marquee box just around these extra boxes and let go, it will deselect. Alright, so now you can see that we have just these triangles selected, and if I zoom out, you can see the triangles are selected on the other end. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to press 5, I'm going to grab my scale tool, hold down Shift, and whoa! That did not work. Huh? Oh, well there you go. Looks like using the mirror symmetry is not going to permit that extrusion to occur. No matter. Let's go ahead and just use the old-fashioned extrude tool. So the old-fashioned extrude tool can be located by shift right click, getting into that shortcut menu. But since we have the modeling toolkit open, let's just push the button extrude because all of our modeling tools are conveniently placed right here. Oops, sorry, my dog is trying to get her bone under my desk. There you go, kid. Okay, so I'm going to click on extrude and whoo, that was another unexpected thing. It looks like the extrude tool bounced all the way over here. Huh. Does it still work? Will it still get the job done? It will! Cool. So, interesting. It looks like Symmetry messes with the extrude tool a little bit, but it doesn't matter. We got it done. Let's go ahead and go to object mode, press 3, click off. Yay, it's looking good. And hey, look, we don't have to do any sort of reinforcing over here. Because there are no faces, there's no warping. It's just stopping abruptly at that edge. So we don't have to worry about anything else. We're done. Let's go ahead and, I'm just going to command save or control save if you're on a PC. And let's go ahead and turn off our symmetry because we don't need it anymore. We don't want it to mess. If you don't remember to turn off your symmetry or your constraints, it can mess you up later down the road. So just be very conscious of or conscientious of what you've chosen over here as far as your settings. Just be aware and make sure that you're turning things off so that it's not messing you up. So I'm going to shift right click and I'm going to go into mirror. Let's see, copy world. Is it the x-axis? It is. We're going to do it over the x. We don't want to merge. Good. Mirror. And there we go. And let's go ahead and check that channel box. And yeah, the transform is a little off, so let's go ahead and freeze transformations and delete history. And we are ready to move on to the next part. Let's go ahead and deal with that. For that sudden cut in the video footage, I had to let my dog out. Alright, so I'm going to go ahead and activate these straps because we're done with the handles. Now we're going to do these straps. And I think I'm going to begin by grabbing this in face mode and deleting the faces on the right. So just get rid of that strap for now. Grab my insert edge loop tool, which again shift right click, or if it's got it loaded in the dock, we can go ahead and just double click it. Activate multiple edge loops, set it to 1 and cut in half. Go over here and delete the faces there. So now we're only worried about just this one. And this piece is divided into two. I mean, it's one object, but as you can see, there's two separate pieces to this object. So let's go ahead and start with the top. I'm going to go ahead and grab my insert edge loop tool and reset it. And I'm just going to very quickly go in and fence these. So first thing I'm going to do is actually grab my select tool, grab this in vertice mode, and grab these two bottom portions. So I can press F and basically retool my camera so that it's centered around this instead of, just how it was before. Let's go ahead and put this back in object mode, grab our insert edge loop tool, and let's start by handling the bottom here. So I'll enforce an edge there and there. Let's go ahead and do one here and here. So we got these corners reinforced. Alright, so far so good. Let's angle it this way. Add one there. I'm going to add one over here for good measure, although it's not as important because the back is missing. But yeah, that's all it needed for those bottom corners. If I press 3, they stay nice and rigid for the most part. So yeah, that's working. Let's go up a little higher. Not too much higher. There we go. Let's go to this next corner. And on either side, we're just going to want to insert an edge loop, insert an edge loop. Let's go ahead and add one up here, and one right here, and one over here. There we go. It's looking pretty good. Let's go ahead and press 3. Yep, so far so good. Let's go ahead and reinforce the bevel that we have up here. Good, good. Go a little further up, reinforce this one. Good, good. Continue on. Almost done. It's not cooperating. There we go. And one more bend in this part that needs to be addressed. Okay, cool. Look, there we are. Press F8. And let's test it by pressing 3, and let's click off of everything. Yes, I like it. Let's go ahead and take care of the bottom now. This can be a little, oh, let's delete history. Good habit. And this one's gonna be a little bit trickier, and it's mostly because I put a triangle in. Bad me. Let's see. I think how I'm gonna address this is, let's start with the multi-cut tool, not multi-cut tool, the insert edge loop tool, and then go to the multi-cut tool. So I'm gonna grab the insert edge loop tool. I'm gonna set the multiplier to 2. Forgive the noise in the background. My puppy's playing with her water dish. Hopefully you all can't hear it, but if you can, que sera. So I'm going to go ahead and grab my scale tool. Why is my scale tool not popping up? Because my hand was not on the keyboard correctly. Here we go. I'm going to go ahead and move this over so that these edge loops are kind of hugging closer to the corners. And now I'm going to activate my multi-cut tool. So shift right click, grab the multi-cut tool. And the multi-cut tool, I'm just going to click in the middle of this edge, drag it to the left, and then I'm going to hold down shift. And as you can see, this snaps in increments, and I'll just snap at that 10% increment and press enter. Let's do that again over here. And only we're going to click through to this adjacent edge and press enter. Mercy, knock it off. Turns out she wanted a little fresh water. That's okay. I got her taken care of. Alright, so I'm going to use multi-cut tool over here. Holding it shift to 10%. Doing it again here. Hold down shift, 10%, press enter. And I'll use the multi-cut tool to connect these two as though it were an edge loop. Only this time I don't have to hold down shift. It just snaps to that vertex and I press enter. There we go. Now let's use our insert edge loop tool. So I'm going to press F8. I'm going to shift right click and go to my insert edge loop. And I'm going to drag this. Oh shoot, I still have that multiplier on. Let me fix that. And let's go ahead and hug that edge there and there. And least we forget, this corner is supposed to be beveled. Oh no, would you look at that? That's a problem. Press undo. Let's use our multi-cut tool again here. That could be fun. I'm going to go press spacebar and activate the front view. And now I'm going to shift right click and use multi-cut, and I'm just going to shift and cut through. Let's actually get that a little closer up. Maybe more like that. There we go. And that. And there we go. Everything is nice and, the reinforced. And it looks like it's working. So yay! Let's go ahead and continue tidying up the top of this. And need my insert edge loop tool back. And this time, let's go ahead and grab that multiple edge loops because this I think is going to be fine to use right here. Scale tool. Let's go ahead and push it out that way. Cool. Let's do the same right here. Grab that tool again. Grab our scale. Push that up. Do it again on this side. Looks like I also need an insert edge loop tool applied right here, but back to its default settings. And I think we're done. Yeah, I do. I think that's it. Let's press F8. Oh wait, no. I definitely missed a spot right here. There we go. Let's press F8 and click on there. Ta-da! We are done with the strap. Cool, cool. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to click on it, I'm going to delete its history again, and I'm going to shift right click, mirror that geometry. Oh, here, let's go back to 1. Let's go ahead and mirror the geometry. Let's start by mirroring it on the z-axis, and we do want to merge borders in this instance. Apply. Cool, cool. Grab this. Let's do X, and let's not merge the vertices this time because it's not one mesh, so let's not. I'm going to delete history and freeze transformations, and oh, that didn't take, I centered pivot, sorry. Freeze transformations, and we're done with this part. Next The buckles. Oh, this will be easy. And yeah, we're definitely deleting all of these buckles because we don't need that in our life. Let's go ahead and press F8. And we are going to shift right click and do Insert Edge Loop Tool. Multiple edge, set it to 2, and let's get to it. I'm going to start here and spread those out. Let's go over here and do that again right there. Now, when we do it this time, we want to go into our Modeler's Toolkit and activate that Transform Constraint Etch Slide. So let me just show you as a good juxtaposition. This is what it looks like without it. See how those edge loops want to go straight up and down on the y-axis? But with the transform constraint on, we can absolutely do that without messing up our geometry. So I'm going to do that again here. Keeping that edge constraint on. Cool. Getting through it much faster. We just got a simple piece of geometry to... Ah! What happened? Alright, so we'll just do it this way, because the edge loop tool did not appreciate it that time. Let's press 3, click off, press F8, click off, and yeah, there we go. We got our little buckles ready to go. Turn off that edge constraint. I can't stress that enough. You never know what that will do to whatever workflow you're trying to operate in later. So I'm going to shift right click and I'm going to mirror this geometry. This time I do not want to merge borders. Right, I don't want to merge borders. Let's start with X and then let's do it again. Click this, shift right click, re-mirror the geometry, and this time I want to do Z. And actually while I was doing that, I'm reminded that with the strap portion, I never deleted the center edge loop that it created. It doesn't really matter because again, the high poly is not something that we're going to be necessarily watching poly counts on, but yeah, I mean, we don't need that seam, so. Alright, buckles. I'm going to go over here and I'm going to delete history, pew, and freeze transformations, pew, and then I'm going to go take care of the box. The box is last. Let's do it. Alright, so let's begin with these little things. Again, it's one of those things where I'm going to click on just those and press Control 1. That puts me in isolate mode. I'm going to grab faces and delete these faces I don't need. Alright, and let's go over here to this little guy and start getting to work on it. F8, shift right click, insert edge loop tool. Are we still set with 2? We are. Awesome. So grab this, and this is a situation where we would absolutely want to use that transform constraint because there's a slight dip in this. It's very subtle, but yeah, it's not a perfect box. So let's just use this to make sure that none of this is being like, sorry, I'm trying to talk while modeling at the same time. Not always great at it. Basically just making sure my geometry is not getting messed up by this. I don't like that. Let's go ahead and reset that tool. I think I'm just going to do, on this particular side, I'm just going to address it one at a time. That's cleaner for sure. Alright, I think we're done here. Let's check it. Press F8. Yes! Yes, we are done here. Turn off that edge constraint and press Control A. Get that out of the way. Control A again. Oh, I'm sorry, not Control A again. I'm at Control 1 because we want to go ahead and see this box again. So let's mirror that geometry and shift right click and do it again. So this time we're going to mirror over the x-axis. Apply. Alright, cool. Delete history, freeze transformations. And now this bit. We're in the home stretch. Hang in there. Okay, this one's going to need some more edge loops for the reason that we've got some, edges here, 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 and here that we're going to need to reinforce. So let's get after it. I'm going to, oh, hey, looky there. I left a face. I don't need that face there. I bet you I did that on the low poly too. So when I extruded this area, because there wasn't So I extruded this inward, and because there wasn't anything but an edge there, it created a face. I don't want that face on my box, so I'm going to turn the high poly group off. I'm going to turn the low poly group on. Didn't I just turn it on? Why is the box not showing up? Am I in isolate mode? I am. Gosh darn. There we go. Forgot that I put myself in isolate mode. Let's delete that little face that was in that crevice there, because we don't want it. We don't need it. And delete it there, because that'll be easier to unwrap than having that non-manifold piece of geometry there. Alrighty, let's grab here and turn this back off. Collapse. Turn our high poly back on and get back to this. So I'm going to grab this piece, press Control 1. We are now back in isolate mode, and I will remember that we are this time. And let's go ahead and shift right click, insert edge loop tool. Did I reset this? Yes, I think I'm going to want to. And double check here. Okay, just make sure I left those constraints off. Now let's start here. Starting with this little corner. All right, let's go up a little ways and take care of the next corner. And of course that takes care of like the horizontal lines all the way across, but we got to make sure that we're taking care of these vertical lines. I don't think there would be any issue right here if we used the equal multiplier. Let's see. Nope, definitely not a good thing. Let's not do that. Actually, that's so close together. What if we just stick it in there and just be done with it? Yeah, let's just do that. I mean, yeah, it's about the same distance. It's not a huge deal. All right, let's reset that tool. Okay, edge is reinforced. And this one too, next edge. Looks good. Going this way. Take care of that edge. Looks good. And this edge is looking good. So I think we're good on that front. Now we just got to take care of these. So let's edges over here and over here. And over here. All right, I think we are done here. Let's press F8. Select this and press 3. Oh, cool. All right, press Control 1 to get us back into this mode, and let's turn everything on and just see it. All right, cool. Let's. It's looking nice. It looks way more like the crate. Of course, this high poly version is 89,000 faces. So that's a far cry from the 800 some odd faces of the low poly for sure. So definitely gonna be making some maps here. But let's go ahead and carry on with the next portion. We're gonna start unwrapping some UV maps next. But that takes care of this segment. Now you can go ahead and go in and make sure that everything has its history deleted, that we didn't miss anything along the way, didn't miss freezing any transformations. And I'll do the same on the low poly crate because I think maybe when I mirrored geometry I may have done that in a few places. But everything looks good on the high poly. So let's get back into that low poly and do some UV mapping and packing.